No one really knows what's happening in San Francisco, but this is where it's at. Traditional home of the way out, today mecca of happy hippies who are cracking the smooth silhouette of America's materialism with that ultimate weapon, with love.
The main problem in life is the problem of communication between you and I, and the love that potentially we have for each other. The beatnik thing was against something. It was against the establishment. It was against the way of life, you know. The hippie thing is for something. We're not against anything. We just want the freedom to be ourselves, and that's for love, for experience, positive way of life. We don't say that you're wrong. We just want to be free to be what we want to be, or what we find ourselves to be, as we continue to search ourselves.
Haight-Ashbury, a crumbling corner of San Francisco, is where the action is. This is where the hippies began their march towards flower power and the quiet revolution. So, as the square world begins to adopt hippie fashions, let's take a thoughtful look at the love generation in full flower, walking off the joy and pain of being young and poor in the richest place in the world, amid a conforming society that distrusts the different. Where the living's easy, the job's waiting, hippies turn on, tune in, and drop out to show distaste for a bland culture which seems to offer no ideal beyond that of acquisition. Everyone's competing, they say, nobody's living. They return, like Red Indians, to a tribal group with its own mini hippies, receiving ambassadors from older, less bizarre cultures. Hippie philosophy is hostile to hard drugs like heroin, but based on psychedelic drugs which provide instant mysticism, like LSD, peyote, marijuana. They swallow these mind-expanding drugs illegally, while the coachfuls of tourists who daily come to stare at them stay legally hooked on booze, cigarettes, and tranquilizers. Hippies have a clear vision of the ideal community. Everyone turned on and beautiful and loving and floating free. They work a little, beg a little, and though as rebels they may be parasitic, they're earnest and peaceful, sometimes utterly peaceful. In Hashbury's street fair atmosphere, thousands of youngsters relish a love-seeking, free-swinging, acid-based society, while their leaders prepare for the arrival in this hippie capital of the migrant love generation eager to turn on.
The Haight-Ashbury community has created the Council for a Summer of Love in San Francisco. Within the Haight-Ashbury population, there are many strata of imaginative and creative energies whose spirit extends throughout San Francisco and the world. The people here today represent some of the manifestations of the Haight-Ashbury spirit and healthy activity. They have decided to participate in the Council for a Summer of Love.
We call upon the world to help us celebrate the infinite holiness of life. We ask all who come here in love, and we ask all who live here to greet all men with love. The Council is calling for creative love happenings for every weekend throughout the summer. We are calling upon the forces of love, not of hate. We affirm life, love, peace, and self-discovery. The Summer of Love celebrates these values.
Might these love happenings still include blocking traffic in the streets?
Well, we hope to get Haight Street blocked off by the police legally on Saturday and Sunday.
Streets are for people. The machines run down the street with the people in them, and like there are 2 or 3 people in each machine. And there are lots and lots of people on the sidewalks, and they're all jammed up, and it's uncomfortable. And the people should be in the streets, walking down the streets, because there's a lot of room in the streets, and they can be comfortable. The machines should be off the streets.
Well, are you trying to put the pressure on?
No, I love automobiles. We don't want to tear the machine down. We just want to correct its insanity factor.
Loving the establishment to death, instead of trying to blow it up, is the hippies' choice of weapons, their way of correcting that insanity factor. Each weekend, amid soft Californian sunshine and an air of holy poverty, Haight-Ashbury sees an artistic, spontaneous, unstructured love happening.
There are people in this community who are rediscovering for themselves the natural creative energies of their being. They are painting, they are making original crafts, They are creating social environments in which to live. Yet there are also many articulate people in the Haight-Ashbury. Writers, poets, scientists. People are dropping out of the American brooded machine by the thousands every day. People in this community are practicing what people have spoken about for centuries, and it threatens to overthrow the rest of the American establishment, which is built upon the motives of greed, anger, lust, and self-interest. People in the Haight-Ashbury are not greedy for money. They are not angry at each other. They are seeking no scapegoats, political or actual. They are not lusting for more women or better women or more men or better men. They are seekers. They are seekers of a more meaningful human experience.
A hippie, to me, is an individual in life who has lost, who has become my brother, a descent. They have descended against the structure of society.
What's the point in going around dirty? Do these people bathe?
Are they dirty?
Yes, half of them smell so bad. I don't want to stand
never got
there.
that close to it.
You were talking.
Never got that close.
You were talking a minute ago with some guy. Not a minute ago, about an hour ago with some guy. No, I believe it. I'm not talking about you. You were standing over there discussing with some fella something. I was standing right behind some guy, and I almost died. I swear that guy has not taken a bath in months.
Loving God with all your heart, with all your strength.
Loving God, wait a minute, how about loving people? Isn't that more important?
No, it's not.
Oh, it's not. Why do you...
And if you want to do it here, man, I'm going to.
You don't think this is some kind of rebellion? Honestly, these people
Yes, it is.
dressing. Why? What's the point of the rebellion? This is what I'm getting at. What's the point?
Because we don't like you with your short hair and your smelly face and everything else.
Oh, good.
We don't dig that. That's not our
Do you feel weaker for saying that?
At the moment, it seems that as a community, you are more mocked than taken seriously.
Well, that's not why BBC is here. That's not why you're here. You're taking us seriously. The English are very serious people, aren't they?
We are indeed. But I'm talking about your contemporaries here in America. They seem to mock you. They seem to laugh.
No, they're
at
getting
you.
very, very interested and curious and wondering why the energy coming from the young people in this country is against war, is for love, and is being oppressed by what everyone sees very clearly is a ridiculous police harassment and brutality and stubbornness and ignorance.
That's the one that got beat up.
The police are the only people hippies find it hard, if not impossible, to love. They suffer a persecution complex about the fuzz, those aggressive patrols from a straight world which, hippies are convinced, is jealous of their grubby utopia. Their community spirit, strong when raising funds to attack the cops, is perhaps better seen in a group which scrounges food and money to feed free those who arrive in Panhandle Park with a bowl and an appetite. The Diggers, adopting the name of a Christian society of Cromwellian England, are the conscience of the hippies, who find dirt and disorder appealing and only work when they must. Diggers bail out jailed hippies, restrain local profiteers, provide free shelter, and specialized advice.
Today we went down to the city clinic, and we talked to the people down there about the vernal disease that is spreading through Haight-Ashbury. And they told us that anyone who wants to come down, that they shouldn't be afraid to come down for a checkup, or if they think that they have this disease, to go down there right away and get it fixed.
So in other words, if you have it or not, and you want to check, to go down and do your thing.
There are a number of people in Haight-Ashbury who have this. They have the syphilis, gonorrhea, and the clap. And it has to be stopped. Because if it isn't stopped now, it's just going to spread. And if it spreads, everyone here is going to catch it.
If you're balling some chick and she's got it, we say, oh, well, that's cool, and you go get yourself fixed up, meantime, she's giving to somebody else. So this is who the people that should go mostly.
Now, last night we had a big hassle here about who is in charge of this house. 848 Clayton.
Right.
They said that Hawaiian is in charge of this house.
Right.
And that's it.
This is the way it is. Anybody that's in the house, you know, and is doing the house thing, it's important that the person who's in charge of the house puts on a good front, a good image, right? Now, if I'm wanted by the cops, how am I going to be up here running the house, and when the cops come, I'm over the fence? Because then somebody else takes care of it, and they don't know what's going on. All right, I work in the office. I do the office thing. Hawaii is running the house, but as long as Hawaii does a good job by you, he's in charge. Well, we don't want a dictator, right? This is with anything. If Hawaii does right by you, he's your leader in the house. If Hawaii doesn't go do right by you, somebody else is. But there's one leader in the house. There's not 20. Nobody's supposed to come in like Tobacco that doesn't live here and tell you what to do. He's got his own pad. He's doing his thing. He's not to come in here and tell you what to do. Tobacco wanted dope in the house, and we took a house vote, right? And there's no dope in the house.
Spin the joint.
But there is dope in the community house of one of San Francisco's psychedelic pop groups, the Grateful Dead. Tonight, getting high without losing cool. Smoking marijuana, the mild stimulant known as pot or grass. In this new hang-loose world, hippie philosophy and drugs swing together, lightly connected by a lover's knot, say those who turn on, by obscene manacles, say the rest of the world. In the States, pot is going middle class and spreading like prohibition liquor. As more and more citizens get zonked out of their minds, the drug cult enters the bloodstream of American life. Like it or not, we're living in the stoned age. Pot's just a groovy pastime to hippies, but many go on to play Russian roulette with their sanity, gambling their minds and futures on dangerous hallucinatory drugs like LSD. The rest of the world sees all illegal drugs as demoralizing and dangerous. Though hippies don't dream the all-American dream, they've no disdain for money and spawn their own unworldly tycoons. Businessmen who run the Art Nouveau poster shops, the psychedelicatessens, the rock and light shows. Groovy version of the man in the grey flannel suit is Chet Helms, a promoter eager to spread the genuine hippie happening to London.
What has happened here in San Francisco, to a large extent, has been due to the cohesive element given the subculture by the music and by the light show music happenings and that sort of thing, where large groups of people are gathered together in a non-repressive environment, in a non-aggressive environment in which they're not told what to do from the very outset, from the door, you know, in which, let us say this, as an entertainer or as a producer, my basic theory of entertainment is that the best way to entertain a person is to set up a situation or an environment in which is conducive to their entertaining themselves, which is basically what any person wants to do anyway. They want to do their thing.
Now, you're going to London. What part of the scene are you going to take to London?
Well, I hope to take a rather replete theatrical package, which will involve a musical group from San Francisco. It will involve the light show. It will involve a group of actor, dancer, provocateurs who function in the capacity of generating energy in large groups of people.
Energy generated at Chet's Total Environment Light Show is certainly something else. An assault on the senses, an LSD trip without drugs, flashing strobe lights, spermatozoic color.
See that girl barefoot in the lawn, whistling and singing, she's carrying on. And laughing in her eyes, dancing in her feet, she's a neon light fine and she can dance on the street. Coming by every day.
Left, right, left. Right, left, right. Now, really get fixed each time that you bring your head back. Left, right, left. Right, left, right. Left, right, left. Right, left, right. Now we'll do it with a little jump. So it's like this. And left, right, left. And right, left, right. And
This aging face upon a youthful body belongs to Vito, perhaps the oldest, most lucid hippie. A brilliant sculptor, he runs a Los Angeles troupe which gives freak-out dance performances at happenings. His wife, Sue, aged 25, awaits their second child. Like all hippies, they attack the middle-aged values of their land of milk and money, its worship of property, unquestioning acceptance of the quick buck, and the ultimate achievement of the three-car garage. Conventionally unconventional, hippies repudiate most of society's uplifting moralities. The family, patriotism, chastity, the sanctity of marriage, respect for the law. They deny the right and competence of parents, schools, and governments to make decisions for everyone. A far-out arch-hippie, but the only one I met who's also against LSD.
I think of it as an escape from the good things that are happening around us and the bad things that are happening around us.
So
Most of us need to get away from the bad things that are happening around us. I haven't any one of the kids, for example, a teenager, will come to me and say, "Hey, Vito, you're going to be bugged." I said, "Bugged about what?" She says, "I got loaded on some LSD last night. I got wasted on some LSD last night." They say so themselves. Listen to them. They'll tell you what's happening behind that stuff. They use words like wasted, you know, I fell out behind some LSD. So I think that getting loaded behind any kind of junk like that is to evade your responsibilities as a human being. Listen, if you're loaded behind LSD or some of those other hard, what I consider hard junk, you don't want to do anything except just sit back and contemplate, you know, something else. I have paintings around here by a guy who is a very dear friend of mine. And he's a groovy artist when he's straight. And he'll tell you, if you ask him, say, "Hey, man, how about you're getting loaded behind, you know, LSD?" And he'll say, "Oh, yeah, man, I really found it. I found those new kind of things." And it isn't true, because when he is loaded behind that stuff, he doesn't do anything. He just stands there looking into space, man. You know, you could push him and he might fall down, but he isn't doing anything. People who are loaded behind that kind of thing don't do anything. This heavy kind of insistence every place you go, with all the media about, you know, wow, look at the colors, look at the lights, look at the strobe things blinking. Man, you can really find a trip if you get loaded behind this stuff. There is a lot of that kind of thing, insisting that we become aware of it, that we become sensitive to it. And a lot of the young people are sensitive to it, and they become curious about it. So they say, "Which of it is bad?" I say, "Man, all of it is bad. But if you have to have it, if you need to relax, I'm not going to put grass down. Marijuana isn't that bad." I say, well, a girl stopped me not too long ago, and she had a bumper sticker and it says, "Let's legalize marijuana." She says, "Hey, you want this, Vito? Will you put that in your car?" I'm not interested in propagandizing, legalizing marijuana. The world is falling down around us. People are goofing around with that atom bomb button, and she's asking me, am I interested in legalizing marijuana? I'm not interested. It doesn't motivate me that way. I'm interested in so many other things. I'm interested in the jeopardy and the threat of this establishment, where they're taking young people and slapping them into concentration camps that they call army camps, and those that they don't slap into a concentration camp like that, they're sending off into Vietnam to be killed or kill somebody else, and the ones that are left walking on the street are being terrorized by the police. This is the culture, you know. And the kid says, "No, baby, are you out of your mind? Forget about it. I'm going to find something that's going to make me nice and rosy and zonk me out, and I'm going to sit down on a floor someplace where it's not too cold, and I'm just going to get wiped out and stay wiped out, baby, and nothing's going to get through to me."
Your husband, of course, is very considerably older than you, isn't he? He's, what, 30 years?
He's 30 years older than me.
Now, how does he cross this generation gap?
Oh,
You see, this is a young people's revolution,
his
isn't
philosophy has always been that we learn from people younger than ourselves, and an older person deserves respect who learns from a younger person and who listens to them. So I have learned from my child, and I'm able to help other people through what I've learned from. I've learned how to relax, how to for immediate energy from our muscles, and relaxation, to get the carbon dioxide out for more big breaths. And
you and your husband, of course, you don't take LSD, do you? You wouldn't...
Oh, no, we never have tried it. Don't want to fool around too much with chemicals and eliminate all the wrongs from our life, like sugar.
But don't you find that most of the hippies are on LSD?
Oh, so many of my friends have just ruined themselves. And I tell them it's a military plot. It was happening in China in the revolution. And please, please listen to me and stop it and get involved with something where you don't have to sit in a corner.
Don't the hippies who take LSD in part, don't they think you're pretty square?
No, indeed. Because the minute they look at me, I convince them that I'm for real and I'm happy and they would love to be this way.
Los Angeles, a city without a center, and none of the community spirit of Haight-Ashbury. But on Hollywood's Sunset Strip, teeny boppers, the underage hippies, congregate to sell underground psychedelic newspapers to the curious. After riots on the Strip, police closed hippie clubs, but screamies and teenies still get their kicks by provoking the fuzz and violating the 10 o'clock curfew. Here, even dancing's illegal, let alone drugs.
Yeah, isn't that weird? Blow your mind.
Try a free press and a free joint to go with it.
You're gonna stare and smile. You can be hippie, right now. Or do you have the nerve? You can be hippie.
Their only political posture's one of unremitting opposition to the establishment. In some way, their revolution's a war between generations. The hippies' rallying cry is, never trust anyone over 30. They don't represent all the younger generation, of course, but their international numbers grow daily. So does their share of headlines, their defiant dependence upon drugs, and their anxiety that everyone else should turn on. As usual, the fuzz moves in to turn off the scene. The middle-aged world outside sees hippies in a selfish twilight of dirt, drugs, and do-nothing, and hates them anyway because they're young, have lots of hair, enjoy sleeping 9 to a room and 3 to a mattress, relish noisy pleasures and carefree sex with guiltless minds, and bare their teeth at the Great Society.
Hey, that's free enterprise. What are you doing there, man? That's free enterprise.
Almost half the people in this nation of 200 million are under 25. In a society where money means power, teenagers each year spend about 9,000 million pounds. So even if they can't be controlled, they'll not be ignored. The black and white world of San Francisco's police chief, Thomas Cahill, has to cope with this colorful society.
Well, of course, we have no conflict with the hippies because of the manner in which they dress, talk, look, act, as long as they're not in violation of law. It's when they're in violation of law that we come in conflict with the hippie. Because you have to take into consideration that there's a sort of a natural antagonism between the hippies and the police. from the standpoint of they do not believe in and they are fighting against the laws pertaining to marijuana and LSD. And the police are not attempting to maintain status quo. We're flexible enough to meet the challenges and the changes of our day as progressive, intelligent law enforcement officers. But we do have to maintain law, order, and decency on the streets. And when people just flock out onto the street, monopolize the whole street to the detriment of the welfare and the rights of the majority in that particular area, plus San Francisco as a whole, traveling through that area, then we have a sworn duty to take over and to restore order, and this I intend to do. And if it happens again, I will. And if it takes more force than I have available, I'll bring that force in because the arrangements are already made. And we have to, in a major city like San Francisco, we have to be prepared for any emergency. I am, on a regional basis and on a statewide basis. And as I did when we had the trouble in September, if it's necessary to bring in National Guard, I'll bring in National Guard. I'll use whatever force is necessary, and that's all. But I'll use whatever is necessary to restore order and to maintain order in this city. Once they challenge us, it's like anything else. There's only one answer: we win.
Assault would be easy to repel. It's far more difficult to control passive, ever-loving multitudes with a tendency to distribute flowers. Police reaction to hippies is definite enough. Yours could be an indication of your own emotional equilibrium. A violent response to these scruffy, shiftless, amiable kids could come from some unconscious personal problem. The well-balanced are more likely to show tolerance, amusement, concern. Within their communal pads, hippies form a curiously incoherent, flavorless group, as though LSD had removed positive qualities and left only a self-pitying acid mumble and a conviction the police don't love them.
No.
The police are basically stormtroopers, right?
Yes, they're fascists as far as I'm concerned, and they don't like hippies, and they don't like the things we do, and they try to harass us and bother us.
Why do you think they don't like you?
You know, they don't like the way we dress, and they don't like the things we do. You know, like.
Yeah, it's just like.
Period.
It's just like your own parents. They don't like the things. They don't like the certain things you do. And so then they yell at you for it.
Actually, your parents, Karen, you're very young. Aren't your parents liable to send the police down to collect you?
No, I think they try to come themselves because my mother knows how much I hate the cops.
But what do your mother and father do? What sort of life do they lead?
My mother's a teacher, and my father works for Social Security.
And why have you decided to leave them and come and live here?
Well, it's not so much leaving them. It's leaving San Bruno, the straight place, or whatever you want to call it.
Very square, in other words.
Yes.
Yeah, they are very square.
But what do you think they've got here, though, that makes you want to come here?
Freedom.
Freedom to what?
You can be what you are.
To love.
Well, you don't have to. You can be yourself. You don't have to be what adults want you to be. And everything like that, you know.
But what do you want to do here that your parents wouldn't want you to do back
Nothing.
home?
That's it.
Exactly.
Nothing. I don't have to do anything.
Do you think being a hippie is something that you're going to grow out of?
Well, the hippies are going to change, like the beatniks 10 years ago. And then there were the college protesters, the political people. Then now there's the hippies. It's going to change. It's going to be different. We're going to mature. The thing's going to grow bigger. It's not going to be like this in 10 years.
But you see, as you mature, do you think you might get square?
No, definitely not.
The hippie movement is like any other extreme action on the part of people. It'll die a natural death. Either they'll move on to someplace else, they'll move out of this way of life, or they'll just scatter. Those who will remain will revert back to the more conservative so that they're absorbed into the community without being conspicuous. Takes time.
What about LSD?
LSD is far worse even than heroin, I think. because of its action on certain people again. And now we've had experience where people who have taken LSD have gone in through plate glass windows. We have people who are inside with LSD coming out through plate glass windows. So I don't know what direction these people are moving in.
Among the giant redwoods, Chet Helms sets off on an acid trip. The tablets will hit within 45 minutes. Their effects last 8 hours. Some 4 million Americans are said to have taken LSD last year, each trip full of promise and danger. A shattering experience risked only with close friends in natural tranquility. Though illegal, anyone bent on a trip can still take one if he has the fare. Today, about 30 shillings. LSD, an acid derived from a fungus, is colorless, odorless, tasteless, and undetectable. Once swallowed, it's all in the mind. LSD is not a means of instant wisdom or universal bliss, nor an indication of national decadence. It's not physically habit-forming, though it can be psychologically habituating. Far more than a fad, it is to some a new religion, but its ultimate effect remains menacing and unknown.
We've got some more acid over here if you want to go ahead and drop it.
Dropping acid can bring utter peace or utter panic. Nobody knows how LSD changes the programming of the brain, but it releases a flood of sensory signals and overloads the mind with sensation. Bad trips can be nightmarish. Some upset mental balance and may damage the brain. A few lead to suicide. The majority bring 8 hours of optic frenzy, repressed childhood memories, hallucinatory beauty.
Oh, this one's... See, the ones that have white in them are really great. But the leaves have this distinct bitterness to them. They don't have all the juice, you know, it's like concentrated bitterness, whereas in here you have the wateriness too. They're good. Aren't they good?
Pretty sour.
Are you like a rabbit? Yeah. Yeah, I know. You get an explosion of this sour in your mouth, and it makes you salivate. I got a whole bunch. Enough for lunch. Lunch is soon. There's the red one and 2 white ones. I don't know if there's a difference in the flavor. Maybe not. Maybe I've just gotten used to them with strain.
Funny, it's like having part of your head that doesn't come along.
We're surrounded by every place I look, I see sun, but here, we're in the depths of something here.
Who knows what they see now on their kaleidoscopic trip to the unknown dangers of inner space. In Elysian Park, Los Angeles, hippie tribes gather 20,000 strong for a love-in. The new waifs come bearing beads and blossoms and bells, looking for new experience and new magic, wandering the woods like children of the Children's Crusade, leaving only a trace of gentleness in their wake. Color them rainbow.
Hi, Wendy, I'm Jack.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like you to meet a friend of all of us, a man who has helped organize this affair. He is going to bring on the happening from the Mystic North.
He used to be called Big Brother, and they had a group called Big Brother the Holding Company. Now he's just Chet Helms, and here he is.
I bring you greetings from the tribes of the North. And I want to say that it's really very, very beautiful here. It's the most beautiful trip I've ever spent in Los Angeles. I'd like to say as well that about 4 weeks ago, I spent some time in New York, and I spent some time in London, and I'm here to tell you it's happening all over. Ladies and gentlemen, the Miller Blues Band.
The money-hating flower children are paradoxically products of wealth. Self-indulgent hippies can only drop out because other people don't. Because others stay behind to mind the store, pay the taxes, run the world. And because in this rich society, it's not easy to starve. For the love generation, it's just a beginning. Their numbers grow, their philosophy spreads. If you can't stand or understand this flowering segment of the younger generation, there's little point in getting cross and calling it names like lost or beat or protest, and no point at all in just wishing it would go away. You will go away first.
The thing that's happening is people are just getting together to have a good time and show that they have love for their brothers, you might say, and just to see one another.
And here, you don't want anything from anybody. You walk up and you see a face and you say hi and you smile.
The loving is exactly what it means, what it says, is that people have come here to love one another, you know, and to be in love with each other.